right, hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I am your commissioner and host, Sierra Cotto, here with the co-hosts, Mike Cabalon. We got Iffy Wadiway.
Yeah. I don't know why you're giving very modest energy today.
Yeah.
Hello. I am. I don't know.
just-
Sorry if I don't know. You should know, but I am the host
I don't mean
of
to
this
presume
program.
that you know what this is, but it's TV Chef Fantasy League.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, we got to keep it humble. It's It's a sleepy little day in May.
Oh yeah.
A
also
May
known
gray day.
as- Yeah.
Great day.
People outside of LA don't know. We got May gray and June gloom, and it's generally the worst time to be in LA.
Yeah.
Which is not saying. I mean, look, they're beautiful days.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they're just not like the sunshiny spring into summer.
Right.
A lot
We're
of
spoiled.
pool parties planned today. Ruined.
Yes,
Ugh.
exactly. You plan a pool party, you get there, you're like, I'm keeping my clothes on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't want that. You gotta keep your clothes off when you go to the pool party.
That's Iffy's
That's
MO,
what
no
I
matter
say.
what kind of
Yeah,
party
yeah.
it is.
Sure.
You invite him to any party, he's
or-
like, the clothes are
Yeah.
coming
Coming
off.
They're
Or
coming off.
a non-pool party. I did want to shout out a little ice cream place I went to.
Oh,
this
here we
weekend.
go.
Okay.
I mean, I've been before, but we went again. Really loved it. Kinro's Creamery. Have you guys been to
Kinro's.
this?
I never go
No.
because it's on the west side.
It's far. It's in
Yeah,
Old
yeah.
Town Pasadena out here. So it's a
Oh,
little
wait,
far.
what am I thinking of?
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Is there a second Kinro's on the west side?
There might be. So
Okay.
there's definitely one on the east side.
I think it's that they're not within a radius of me, so I'm
Okay,
like,
sure.
it's
I mean,
off
yeah,
my
I was
radar.
gonna say it's still kind of far from
Yeah, yeah.
you,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
you're
but
probably
I
smack
might
dab in
check
the
that
middle.
out. I
Yeah.
might peep it.
If you ever go to Old Town, it's you got $1 parking. You go. Used to be free.
Okay.
Used to be free
Used
when
to be
I
free.
so yeah, I'm complaining. But yeah, it's creamery with Iranian and Egyptian roots. But yeah, it was really good.
Okay, that's because my preferred Persian ice cream is Mashti Malone in LA,
Oh, okay.
which does have a location within, I'd say, biking distance
Okay,
of
then
me.
me.
then yeah, it might be a rivalry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got and one of the scoops I got had fruit leather in it, which pertains to this episode.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
See,
Why I'm bringing
speaking
it up.
of rivalries, one of the lunches I had this past week, it was catered tacos
Okay.
1986.
Oh, sure,
yeah,
yeah.
But when they were serving, I was in the line and I was just kind of offhandedly, I just mistook it for Via's tacos. So I was telling them, I was like, I live near this spot.
No.
And all this. And they go, and the cooks, they go, oh no, that's them other guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I go, oh yeah, I mixed y'all up.
Is
you
that a
know.
rivalry?
Well,
Because I know whose team I would pick in a heartbeat.
I'm excited for this reveal, but what I said in that moment after that faux pas, I was like, oh yeah, no, you have the one in Pasadena. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I like them both. Why pit two bad bitches together?
Okay.
And then they
That's
were
the right answer.
They were like, well, there's clearly one
Oh,
better.
Whoa.
they double down.
And I was like, huh.
Ouch.
Which I didn't want to play too hard because my pick is definitely Via's Tacos.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
Same.
yeah,
Hands
so it's
down.
just-
No, unquestionably.
Yeah,
Not even close.
So it was
no.
very weird where I'm like, you don't know that Via's Tacos cooks your shit? Because also when I got up, I ordered a queso taco thinking
Okay.
it was Via's Tacos,
No,
and
it's
they
not.
just kind of made it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they kind of do the same, all the accoutrement, but I realized I was like, oh, that's why I didn't see any of the salsas.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I was like, look, Tacos 1986 is good. I think if you have someone from out of town and they're like, I want to taste the LA taco, that's a solid place to go.
It's not even that for me.
But huh?
it's not even that for
It's
me.
not even.
If someone from out of town is like, I want an LA taco, I'm taking them to the closest street stand.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that.
And
But
then to Via's.
yeah,
86, I'm like, with all due respect, I'm shocked so many people are like, this is the taco.
I feel like it was a golden standard, and I think it is definitely. If you haven't had Via's yet, it's it is your best taco. It is the best because it's the trucks are 10 out of 10, 20 out of 10, but that is where it gets dicey because everyone has their favorite and all this. So as far as brick and mortar places, if you have 1986, you're like, oh, this is next level.
Still not even for me.
Really?
Even as far as brick and mortar, I'm like, give me 10 brick and morters. They're probably going to be number 10 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It doesn't do it for me.
Wow, I wonder what that is because to me it's not that far. It's not like Via's Tacos crushes it, but Via's Tacos. I think, is
Yeah.
their
On that
own
we
league.
agree. Yes.
But I feel as far as under Via's Tacos, they are definitely a front runner in my view.
I know I have an unpopular opinion here. I don't know. I don't know anyone else who shares this
because-
opinion, but I'm like, am I missing something?
Well, I think you're missing the accoutrement that is just.
Oh, I'll
standard.
salsa it up. I'll
But,
try
well,
and.
I just mean like wok being like standard. I think that automatically shoots anyone to the top of my list, and I don't see anyone doing that outside of Via's and Tacos 1986.
Sure.
Everyone else makes you pay extra for guac. They,
Yeah.
know, and I feel like that pop that they all have.
I don't know. There's something about it. Just doesn't. It reads very underseasoned to me.
Ooh, interesting.
I know. I don't know.
It's possible.
I've
feel
like I feel like I've had it more than once. It's not like I had it once and I'm like it was bad. I'm like I've had it more than
And
once.
you've given it
I've
a
even
try.
had that
That's
catered version.
important.
Someone's
Yeah.
had it at a party.
Yeah.
And they're great at like the catering, like they get you through very fast, but I'm just like the actual product doesn't sing to me.
Interesting. Yeah.
And in a city full of tacos that sing, I'm just like, why?
Sure. I think they have great marketing then, because I feel like I
Great
can picture their
marketing.
logo, and
Yes.
also I think I've only had them as catering or whatever,
Yeah.
something.
And they
I've
have like
never been
10
to them
locations. They
person.
like
Yeah.
They make it very easy to get their products, but I'm just like, it's
Right,
not
right.
it's not the one.
Interesting.
Sorry.
No, I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's always a thing of like if you go back going like I'm gonna really pay attention this time and give it a second chance, and then it
Right.
still lets you down a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good way to know that your opinion is sort
Yeah,
of
because once I'm
a
like,
long term.
everyone has an off day. Maybe
Yeah.
I
Right,
came,
right.
right when their best chef quit that day. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, everyone has a bad day, like Cat. Sorry, Cat.
Well, and
Katiana,
yeah, both.
in the
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
of
yeah, both.
these great chefs, they could be crushing it, but then they go home.
Okay, this is something
Mm.
that we were reflecting on as we were watching this week's episode, was that it's like, out of the remaining 6, I was like, it's kind of a toss-up, because none of them, to me, during the draft at the beginning of the season, none of them were like, that's a front runner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because so our first round picks were yours was Massimo. Wait, what was
No,
your
my
first
first round, I don't remember. Okay, I have to look. I'll check the record.
Okay. Check the record.
Your first round was Katiana,
My
right?
first round was
Yeah,
Katiana,
yeah.
but then my second round was Tristan, and I was in the middle, so it came back sooner. But I think, and then yours was Kat, of course.
My first round pick was Henry.
Henry. Okay. Yeah, so he went out kind of early. So yeah, so I think we
And I would have
didn't
picked
quite
Katiana
judge
as my other
everybody.
first round pick if you hadn't gotten to her first.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just sort of shocked at who remains. And no knock on them. It's just like usually at this point in the season, it's like this person's clearly going to win. And here I'm kind of like, well, they were all like my third, fourth round picks, so I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Tristan to me, like I think he was definitely towards the top.
I think he was your second
He
pick.
was my second pick,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like I got Katiana, who was definitely one of
Right.
my
That was a big
was
get.
my first.
Big get.
So, but I feel like he could have been as easily first
Sure.
and had a good thing. And he has done very well, though, in the recent, episodes. We've
Mm-hmm.
been seeing some other people pop up. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, shall we get into it then?
Please.
Let's get into it.
Let's.
let's jump.
So we got it's week 11 now, and they're in Calgary for the first time leaving Toronto this season.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Have either of you? Did you know much about Calgary?
I didn't know a single thing, and now I want to go so badly.
Well,
very
I
interesting.
was the one who said it was. They say it's the Texas. of
Oh,
Canada.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and
yeah,
it was very clear.
Yeah, hearing them talk about the rodeo, I'm like, that's exactly when I want to go to Calgary.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I want to go to the rodeo. I want to eat those pancakes.
They make a lot of beef.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots is going on. And then they also announced that the finals are going to be in Milan. So that's very,
Very
exciting
exciting.
as well.
Yeah.
So we start with the quickfire challenge that's not in the studio, which is so exciting. In
Okay.
the field.
Oh, wait, sorry. I texted the group about this earlier. There was a Hollywood
Oh,
Reporter
shoot.
interview, and there was a lot of interesting stuff, and I feel like I'll just interject them
Yeah,
throughout
sorry, I
this
forgot
episode.
to read it.
So
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
the points they made, the interviewer brought up, they're like, it feels like there are a lot more in-studio episodes this season,
Yeah,
and their
well-
response was, actually, it's the exact same number as other seasons. And I was like, I don't have the resources to do the math on that to fact check that, but I was like, I guess if you told me that was true, I'd believe it. I don't know why this season feels like there's so much more
Yeah.
in studio.
Right. Yeah, it felt a little claustrophobic.
I guess it's just
sometimes.
because it's like anywhere you do it in America, I'm like, I know the beats. You know what I mean? If you're like, we're going to do New Orleans season, then I'm like, okay, you're going to go to Bourbon Street. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, I
Right,
know
right,
what to
right.
expect.
But they
With
place
Canada, I
it.
was like, I don't know what there is. I want to see more of Canada.
Yeah, maybe it is like a spacing thing too, where it's like normally it's more spread out, but because of the travel between places
Right.
in Canada,
Yeah.
we're having a lot of overlap.
That's possible. Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, they said
did
it's the
travel.
exact same number of episodes in studio as any other season. So I thought that was really interesting.
And
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
very interesting.
No, that's an important fact. I think also, like, labeling it as, like, Canada, it's like you kind of maybe
It's
are
a
thinking,
big.
like, they're going to hit every corner
Yeah,
of this
exactly.
country, and then obviously
Yeah,
not.
they're going to be on the move every episode.
Yeah.
No, mostly Toronto.
Mostly they'll be in Toronto. But yeah, so we know where they'll be, but they're still in Calgary for next episode. Okay. Anyway, quick fire. Oh yeah, so Connie D'Souza is the guest judge. This is like another one of like Massimo just is always the guy who's introing these judges, which is kind of funny.
It's
He just
it's
is
always
the
the
only one who
local.
knows.
Last season
Yeah.
it was Dan being
Sure,
like, I know
well, Dan-
every chef in Wisconsin.
Dan would like
Yeah.
make eye contact with them and like high five them, and then but Massimo, it's almost like I feel like nobody has as much context about it, or be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
this
yeah.
person's this because it's like, oh, sorry, America kind of.
Right. We don't know anyone up
America-centric.
there.
Yeah. Okay, so this challenge has to do with the Calgary Stampede, which is a very famous gathering that happened since 1912, pancake breakfast tradition. So they get 45 minutes to create their own pancake breakfast for 50 diners, and it has to be a handheld pancake, so no utensils.
I thought that was an interesting. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know.
who eats any form of pancake handheld?
Yeah.
It feels
Feels a
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think in high school we did pancake breakfast for like a fundraiser or something for like the seniors day or whatever.
Okay,
they had,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it was it was definitely like a health hazard because it was like a bunch of kids who
Children.
don't know how to cook,
Yeah, yeah.
trying to
Raw
squeeze,
eggs,
yeah,
yeah.
squeeze the batter onto these electric grills that are
Yeah.
plugged into like a random wall.
Yeah, yeah. They're all sharing
And-
one power outlet.
Yeah, it's literally like draining the power. And then, yeah, I realized how, of course, how it's sticky.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
stuck to the thing. You don't know if somebody does it wrong. It's unsanitary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then making it also the right consistency to be handheld makes a whole nother level
Yeah.
of like difficulty.
Yes.
So I have much respect having tried this once before.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Any other, did you guys, big pancake people or what? are we-
Look, I love a pancake.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a pancake. Yeah, handheld pancake seems like a bit much, but I think that's that Top Chef flair, adding a little,
Sure.
little pizzazz, make it.
Make it
wild.
weird. Make it weird.
Make it harder.
Yeah, yeah.
Yahoo was the big, that's their yeehaw.
Yahoo.
Yahoo. Shawai does his Mario Yahoo,
Very
Yeah.
cute.
which was
Very
good. His
endearing.
was better than mine. And then we also saw Tristan's mom's military past.
Oh,
He
that's
lived
right.
in both Japan and Guam. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Explains why he has so much back. He's a very he seems to know about
A world
every
traveler.
culture, it
Yeah.
seems. And then Cesar had a cute little picture from when he was a kid behind a stack of pancakes.
Real.
Glad they
I
dug
feel like
that
that
out.
was kismet. You know what I mean? To
I
be
mean,
like, hey, do you have
yeah.
a picture of you as a child with a pancake? And he's like, let me do you one better.
Yeah.
An entire stack.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, literally perfect. Yeah, with my little cute face behind
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it is funny thinking because a lot of these things, like basically after they probably ask them all, like, "Hey, do you guys have any things we can gather for the
Right.
archives?" And they probably just send them a ton, or maybe their parents don't have any, or whatever. They like don't
That's
have
my
all
problem.
That, right?
That's happened to me on sets before where they're like, oh, we're going to do
Oh,
like
right.
a flashback to your childhood. Do you have any like childhood photos or videos? And I'm like, my mom is really bad at keeping records. So no.
Okay, yeah.
You got to find stock footage of a little Asian kid because I simply don't
right.
have
Yeah.
anything.
Find someone kind of generally same eyebrows. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. You never, people got to digitize stuff. What's
Yeah,
that like?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we'll get into these dishes. So we had Shawai with his cornmeal pancake with bacon.
With a cheese crust, right? He was the one who did the.
Yeah, it looked a little strange. But
Well,
yeah,
that
he
was
got it done.
that was what I thought
Big.
was clever. Is he was like, I'm gonna seal off one side so that nothing pops out the bottom like a taco, and I was
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
that's how you make it handheld to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's very like engineering.
Yeah, yeah.
Massimo had his buttermilk pancake with plum sauce, bacon marmalade, and peach puree.
Teeny tiny itty bitty little pancake, little mini
yeah,
pancake. I was like, if he's gonna make them that small, why not give you 2 or 3 per serving?
That's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
Put them in a little
especially
boat.
for the judges.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say make them dippable.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
flipped-
dippable.
ooh, like little
like
or
a Dunkaroo.
like little cereal, like Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
He took the boats that they were serving them in and flipped it over,
Flipped 'em over.
and gave it to the bottom because it was like a smaller
Yeah.
surface. That was ridiculous. Okay. Bailey did her buckwheat crispelle with brown butter pecan, plum maple syrup, roasted mushroom, and spinach.
That looked delicious. I did
Yeah.
really. Yeah, yeah.
right. It was like kind of a
Into
crepe.
that. Yeah.
I guess it's the Italian crepe. Is that what
Great.
crispelle? I don't know.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we think it is, Bailey. Okay, Lana, creamed corn hoe cake with sausage, poached peaches, peach, and white hibiscus syrup. Had a soggy bottom, one of the diners.
Soggy. Oh man.
Wrong show.
Wrong show
wrong
for
show
points.
for
Save it for the winter. But yeah, so that one was a little less successful. Cesar did his XO pancake with basil and Chinese sausage, brulee tomato, and candied mushrooms.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then Tristan's cachapa with cheese and berbere chorizo, charred pepper, and bacon syrup.
Love that. Once again, demonstrating his like worldly knowledge. You like a
Right.
Venezuelan corn cake and then like
Yeah.
African spices. I'm like, I love this.
Yeah.
mixing it
Very
up.
creative.
Mixing it up.
And so the faves were Bailey, Shuai, and Tristan, who each get half a point. The winner was Shuai. He got a full point, and he wins 10K. And this is kind of a little bit of a role for him because he did he won the last elimination challenge.
Yeah.
And
He's
then,
had a real sort of in the middle of the season. It was like, oh no, he's on the bottom a lot,
Well,
and
yeah.
now he's pulling up.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, he was.
Preparing for the Shawai sweep.
Ooh,
Okay, a sweep.
Yeah. When he was throwing Henry's stuff in the trash, that was real low.
Yeah.
But he's coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Poor
Better
guy.
than ever.
Tough.
If he
Tough
wins, I
break.
think Henry's gonna like jump off
Oh
the
my
building.
god. What if he chooses Henry as his sous chef and then Henry throws everything in the trash? As a
Yeah.
good old
I'm sure the
revenge.
Bravo execs would love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was okay. I'm gonna keep injecting this.
Oh, yeah.
That was another part of the Hollywood Reporter interview. Tom Colicchio dropped this thing where he was like, early on in the show, Bravo would push back and try and get us to like make it more of a dramatic, more of like a
yeah.
Bravo show.
Right.
And then he said this thing where it was like, it wasn't until we won the Emmy in season 6 for an episode where like it's a bunch of French chefs talking about French food, and that was the one that won an Emmy. And then finally Bravo was like, I guess this is what the show wants to be. So they
cool.
But to me, the interesting thing was like season 6. It took them 6 seasons for Bravo to be like, okay, we're gonna stop trying to
Yeah.
make this
Yeah,
into like a
that's
catty reality show.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess so. I mean, and also probably like the time was still. Oh, we need the crazy stuff.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like the only reason to have a reality show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. Yes, I
Yeah.
mean, and then now it's like season 22, so I guess it feels early to be season 6, but that is 6 years in.
That's
Yeah.
6 years
Yeah.
of having to fight off execs being like, make it more catty.
Yeah,
You know?
and they hate each other. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, wow. But they learned their lesson, and we just want a nice sweet chef show.
We
where
just want to
everybody's
see
sweet
chefs
pies.
being the fucking best.
I know, loving each other, except for Massimo. Nobody likes Massimo.
I've heard this just like colloquially from friends increasingly in the last couple of weeks where people are like, I don't like Massimo, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't see the issue. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I see that like he is an abrasive person and he's like loud and he's not for everyone, but I'm like, he's not the enemy of the season. Some
Yeah.
seasons you're like, this person's a bad person. I'm like, Massimo's just like an acquired taste of a
Oh, yeah.
person.
Sure.
Yeah, no. Massimo, like we riff on Massimo, but I really think he's funny. I think
Yeah.
that's why we riff, and I think it's a good time, and it's a big energy, and it makes him exciting.
Yeah.
And I like even in this quick fire when he was like, I'm not sure, I have to put on a show to really make it,
Right,
worth.
right.
I was like, yeah, he is someone who's an
Yeah.
entertainer, which is what makes him a good chef.
Yeah, and compelling television.
Yeah.
But also,
I
I guess,
that.
divisive amongst people.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, big personality, so he's always going to get attention called to
Right.
him. So if you're like, if you're mad at him, it's like easy target.
He's an easy
Yeah,
target.
that's
Yeah.
true.
But yeah, I mean, I guess one thing is he's like cooking better now, so I think it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
justifies him. If he was just like also bad and like
Right.
kind of loud and taking up a lot of space, you'd be like, can you not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it kind of helps that he's
What's
starting to hit his
your
stride.
personal take? Because I feel like Iffy and I are like co-signing him, but maybe it's
Yeah.
just like we're like dudes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Dudes loving dudes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think
We love a man who like is
find-
loud and takes up space.
Big
Yeah,
Massimo,
how about you?
Big Massimo.
Okay, we're doing
Oh, yeah.
Iffy peck
Pecs
flex.
are moving. Hope for those who can't hear it, but I'm sure you can hear it.
You can hear his pecs, yeah.
yeah. Picking that up in the studio. No, I think initially, like, I get the idea. I was a little annoyed of like, okay, loud, but
Sure.
it comes. I think the way it's okay is it feels like it comes from a genuine place, and this is who he is authentically,
Yeah.
rather than somebody putting it
Yeah.
on,
Sure.
thinking that's what you need or something. So
Right.
I think he's earned it a little bit more over the
Okay.
course for me.
Yeah.
But in the early times, I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's annoying. Like,
Yeah.
he can stop, and he's like not that great, so like why? And he's just
Yeah.
like causing
Yeah.
other people to get annoyed. But now I'm like, okay,
Sure.
he
Okay.
seems
He's
to be
growing on
fine.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And I mean, this episode maybe he pulled through a little bit more even because he did well, as we'll see, but also it seemed like he at least is also open to trying other things and succeeding in that
Yeah.
way. It's not like
Yeah.
he's closed-minded. So I
Right.
think
He's an
that's
adaptable
nice.
chef.
Yeah.
But he clearly wins over. I mean, like seeing the reaction on like some of these guest judges' faces, like Buddha obviously loved him. Like some of the they get, or some
Right,
people
right.
don't like him, but he gets a reaction, which is kind of fun to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets the people going.
Gets people going, right? So we'll get more into what he does this episode. But anyway, basically, this quickfire least favorites were Cesar, Massimo, Lana. Unfortunately, we kind of saw that coming. And they are going to take into account the quickfire and the elimination, as they always do. But let's move into the elimination challenge. So let's keep in mind Shuai gets an extra 30 minutes for this cook because he won
Right.
last elimination
Yeah.
challenge.
Right.
That's his little bonus, not immunity. But anyway, guest judge is Dania Baltzer, who's a First Nation chef of Dene and Cree descent. The challenge is create a dish that features beef and berries. So Calgary is Canada's top beef producer, and berries are a big part of First Nations cuisine. So the Stampede kind of brings these two together, and this is the perfect way to honor that in a dish.
Interesting challenge.
Yeah,
I
haven't seen it.
don't pair beef with berries a lot, or don't see it paired with
Yeah, I guess not.
a lot. And then B, hadn't heard of most of these berries.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like a lot of the berries, it's like you have them as flavors or like
Some
I've
of
seen
like
them
elderberry, I'm like, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
elderberry,
That's all
gooseberry.
everywhere.
I
Gooseberry.
feel like they're like
Gooseberry,
on
yeah.
candies and stuff.
But all the
you
other
know?
ones, I was like, what the fuck is a
No,
Yeah.
Haskap.
Yeah,
Don't know
what's a
that one.
Haskap?
Saskatoon. I
Never
mean,
heard of it.
clearly Canadian.
Suffering Saskatoon.
Suffering.
That's what Canadian
Choke-
Sylvester
oh.
says.
That's yeah.
Oh,
Canadian
sure.
Sylvester. Suffering
Right.
Saskatoon.
He didn't.
I got to get out of here.
He didn't go as global as the American
They
one.
translate it no matter what culture
Right.
he's
Right.
in.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
In Spain, he's like suffering saffron.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. In
fancy.
China, suffering Szechuan.
Oh, he dresses the whole.
Suffering Szechuan.
I love it. This guy travels. Black currant, though. That one
Okay,
that's
sure,
a
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
again, I don't know if I've like had a black currant to the face. Well,
To the face.
Yeah, like
No one's ever
thrown at
launched
you,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like just
And
that.
a stand-up
Maybe.
show. You. Boo.
Boo! I drove all the way to Canada to throw this at you. Okay, so dishes. Oh wait, no. We're back here. Okay, so yeah, they pick their beef cut. They get to like visually go
Yeah.
pick that out, and then they draw knives for berries. So the berries is more random.
Tough order. Because
order.
you could be like,
Sure.
okay, I'm gonna pick a fatty cut and hope I get an acidic berry, and then pull something that like doesn't. It's like a sweet berry, and you're
Good
like,
luck
oh
with
no,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But then in the middle, they get to go gather at a diner with Kristen to chat. It was just like kind of a little
Which
diner
also
chat.
looked delicious.
Yeah.
Laura and I looked at each other like, okay, we're gonna go to the rodeo, and then we're gonna go get these cheeseburgers at this clown themed bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a little counter.
yeah.
Very cool. Kristen apparently had given Lana advice in the past that she seemed to not remember meeting Lana in the past.
That's
which,
very
fair
funny.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then Tristan's mentor is Marcus Samuelson. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's mentioned that before. Anyway, it's great.
Briefly.
We love it.
Yeah.
Who's obviously a Top Chef All-Star. And then we also, after they were done eating, got an egregious close-up of Kristen playing with her active cash credit card.
Yes, of course.
With her name on it, just in case you didn't think she actually had
She
an account.
actually has one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went
There's no
into
way to recreate that
no, yeah,
in
exactly.
the art department.
I went into an Allbirds today, and they had a giant poster of her. I guess she's also sponsored by Allbirds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So maybe,
the
I
worst
mean...
shoes ever. Yeah.
Really?
Are
You
they?
think so?
don't like them?
Fuck. Yeah. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but if it ain't Nike, if it
Oh,
ain't
okay.
Adidas,
Yeah, sure.
if it
Really?
ain't Asics, if it
They're
ain't
new.
Converse, if it ain't Reebok.
I mean, I think that just leaves Allbirds.
That's it's anyone but Allbirds.
But I do, I have some Allbirds. I think what I liked is they are machine washable, but I had to switch out and put in some good old arch supports. Honey buns.
What I'll give Allbirds is that they are comfy for like casual use, but if you wear them for an extended amount of time, like you need arch support, and B, they're also ugly. I'm just like
They do stick out a
Yeah,
little.
exactly.
They-
If it ain't Brooks,
Oh, no.
if it ain't Hoka,
Oh, yeah.
if it ain't.
I think there is also an element with Allbirds where it's like they were endorsed by a certain crowd, and now when you wear them, it's like, well, I don't want to look like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Tech
mean?
bro.
Tech pros,
Yeah, San
yeah.
Francisco-y, like, yeah,
It's
you're
like the
right.
Silicon Valley. It's part of the Silicon Valley uniform de rigueur, and it's like, well, I don't want to associate myself with that.
If it ain't New Balance.
All right.
Okay. Good. Well, okay, that's our take. Kristen, you're up next. Okay.
I've also never seen her wear them like on the show or anything.
Yeah.
I think they get to use her face. It's not like she gets free. She's
yeah.
just like, great, I can wear these.
No.
She has more
yeah.
fashion sense than
She's,
that.
yeah, she wouldn't be caught in
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, Allbirds.
Oh yeah. So Massimo does say he's moving away from his French style to honor the indigenous community.
But he did roast
Hashtag
and saute.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
showed him
Yeah,
like
yeah.
buttering
Yeah,
his.
that was very funny.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Tristan was
Called
like,
him out.
You
Yeah.
basted. You're basing,
like,
bro.
I watched him do
wait.
it. Yeah.
He tried his best. Okay, so the dishes. Let's get into it. Lana, she had her New York strip and hascap berry.
Never heard of hascap berry.
Yeah, that was a new one.
And what was her preparation? Oh, the condiment. The condiment that was overstaged.
Yes. Grilled steak with palms, Anna, hascap berry condiment, and smoked sage. Yeah.
Over-rested beef and overstaged condiment.
Yes.
That's right.
Good memory. Good memory. They would have liked to see more berry. That was a big kind of complaint across the board.
I was kind of, as they were cooking, I was a little bit like, so Bailey was like, I'm going to add pomegranate. I was like, that's going to bite her in the ass. And then Cesar was like, I'm going to add sugar. And I was like, that's going to bite him in the ass. I'm a little bit, I understand the chef's palate to be like, this is unpalatable. I'm going to make it, what I want it to be. But then I'm like, it's a berry challenge. I think you got to make the berry taste like the berry.
Yeah, you
Turned out to
gotta.
be right.
And then that's kind of what they said is like, they're like, hey, you gotta like meet the challenge. You can't just make a good dish and ignore that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've not in this Hollywood Reporter interview I keep talking about. I feel like I've seen Tom talk about that in the past where he's like, this show is not necessarily a competition of who's the best chef. It's like, who's the best at like improvising basically. Because it's like, we're going to throw something insane at you. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Sure. And and especially like the berries were more challenging here than the beef because everybody's more familiar with that. So it was sort of like, if one of these things you're going to want to highlight more, but it's also more difficult too.
Yeah.
It's going to be the berries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lana struggled a little bit with that. Kind of everybody had a bit of an issue with each thing. So boating not great. Massimo though,
Oh, sorry. I was just kind of thinking of potential things, and I was like, I feel like there was like a bone marrow thing you probably could have done with pomegranate. That might have been nice.
But pomegranate wasn't one of the berries. That's what I'm saying is she had like a completely different berry. She's like, I'm going to add pomegranate to this thing. And I was like, why? It's not a pomegranate challenge.
Yeah.
Sorry. She confused me.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. She just added that in. But, it's, maybe somebody else had a bone marrow somewhere. We'll get to him. Massimo did a tenderloin and got tenderloin and elderberries. He kind of lucked out with elderberries, I guess, because probably the most familiar for everybody. But tenderloin with umeboshi, pickled elderberry sauce, and elderberry soup puree. So that was the kind of leather thing. That was cool. Did we see that he did drop one leather on the ground, but it fell paper side down?
Okay, we talked about that in our household. We were like, what? Because he plates everything else first, then picks up off the ground last. So it's not even like a 5-second rule thing. He's like, it's fine.
He's like, it's going to be okay. Yeah. And it was safe there. And he finally got that leather on at the last second. So he got everything
truly last second.
Phew, yeah.
Frisbeed it onto the beef.
yeah. Leather to the beef. People loved his. Gail said showstopper. They felt like the beef and the berries were enhanced in a harmonious way. Pretty successful.
Yeah.
I wonder if they rewinded and showed it on the floor, if they would feel the
zoomed in.
Like, this is what you were munching on, by the way.
Yeah. Somebody got an extra seasoned leather.
I feel like I'm also concurrently watching Next Level Chef, which we don't cover on the show because they air at the same time. Next Level Chef, part of the gimmick is that you grab your ingredients off the platform within a small set amount of time. So people are always like jumping to grab something off the platform, then it'll fall on the ground, then they'll pick it up, and then they'll cook it anyway. And I feel like between that and like this, I feel like in cooking shows, even a year or two ago, it would have been like, it touched the ground, you can't possibly serve that. What is wrong with you? Are you a fucking idiot? And I don't know what changed in the zeitgeist, but now we're a little bit more relaxed. Just like, well, you're going to cook it. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're going to burn off the germs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Don't waste a perfectly good piece of meat. Yeah, I think it's, we're all just willing to be a little less wasteful, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
That's what it is, a food waste thing. It's a conservation thing.
Yeah. Nice.
We're realizing it. Okay, so here's Bailey with her pomegranate, but beef cheek and Saskatoon berry, those were her too.
Saskatoon berry.
So she did a Saskatoon braised beef cheek, creamy polenta, brulee blue cheese.
Brulee blue cheese, that was what got her.
Yeah. The brulee was like a little strange. Maybe to have a big old sugar thing on there was
blue,
a lot.
Yeah.
Flavor of Saskatoon lost in the sauce. Direct quote. So
lost in the sauce. It describes me on a Friday night, baby.
Yeah. Hey.
So
welcome to the club.
All right, what do you got?
I looked up the flavor profile of Saskatoon berry.
Oh,
hit us.
Many would describe the taste of Saskatoon berry as a sweet, nutty almond flavor.
Oh, I like that.
High in fiber, protein, and antioxidants. So yeah, I feel like
nutty.
you can do a lot with like a nutty almond.
Yeah, why sweeten it up with a pomegranate and then add a sugared brulee to a blue cheese?
Yeah.
Interesting. I can't really picture. Yeah, but it feels like
because like a nuttier cheese, have it with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be great on its own. But hindsight's always
Next
20/20.
time.
And it's,
Yeah.
I'm not a professional chef.
Also, I imagine
What?
like when you're under the gun and you taste something and you're like, it's almost like
Right.
when you have to think up,
Right.
like what I always think about is the Billy on the Street Name a Woman.
Sure. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, that is the perfect example of being under the gun, where you're like, what?
What is a woman?
Off the air, just before we started recording, we were talking about Mission Impossible. I feel like once per Mission Impossible movie, they do one of those where Tom Cruise does a move, and they're like, some other character will either say like, what would you have done if that had went wrong, or like, why did you do that? And he's like, well, I didn't really think about that, I just did it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Hey, but
Hey.
not all of us can have those cruise instincts. That's why he's on movie number 10. Okay. Well.
And it's
movie
great.
500. Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
I can't wait to see it. I hope everybody.
By the time this airs, it'll have been out for a week, and if you
Yeah,
haven't seen it, you gotta go see it. It's
Yeah.
great.
Okie doke. Let's see. Tristan, Flatiron and Gooseberries. Alberta Flatiron with kohlrabi, gooseberries, and bone marrow pemmican. Oh, yeah. he did
Oh,
bone
the
marrow
pemmican. That's right, pemmican. Had never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
pemmican.
shocked that he could. This was one where I was like, okay, I know they don't have access to their phones and the internet and stuff, and I was like, did he ask someone? Do you know what I mean?
How
To
to
be
make it?
told, here's a thing, and to be like, I've never made that. I don't know if he said I've never heard of it, but like personally, I've never heard of it. And for him to be like, oh, I can recreate that. I'm like, how?
I mean, yeah,
How did
he's
you
done this a
even-
couple times where it feels like he just has some good instincts. Maybe he does
Yeah.
kind of know it. I had heard of pemmican before, but I feel like it was from like Oregon Trail, which is sort of not the best way to learn.
You heard about it like at the Children's
Definitely
History
did
Museum
not
or
know-
whatever.
yeah, right. Definitely, probably was the wrong teaching of it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure what he could have done in that situation. But I think that is the right. Those are kind of the right ingredients. Is like berries, meat.
I guess
fat,
it's just like if someone had never heard of like cake, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm going to describe cake to you. It's like flour and eggs. There's 1,000 ways that could go wrong.
Yeah.
So for him to be like, I can recreate that, I'm like, how did you know what ratios? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I can guess he's probably
done a little bit of
before.
research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's either had it or like.
or did
had a
he just
version.
pull the guest judge aside and be like, hey, just real quick, can you tell me more about pemmican?
I mean, that would be smart.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. But yeah, they loved it. Ton of flavor. Used the tart berry to its advantage. Gail got an end piece, unfortunately, of the flat iron,
yeah.
and she was like, mine wasn't cooked perfectly, but everybody else's was pretty good. They kind of liked that. The gooseberries reminded them of sour candy, which is a cool description.
Oh, here's another thing picked up from the Hollywood Reporter interview from this week. I forgot what they said Padma used to do, but they're like, Tom and Gail are both like something that Kristen Kish has introduced us to as like candy in between takes. I guess Kristen Kish is a big like gummy candy kind of
yeah.
person. And so there's another bit I think in this episode where she mentioned like it reminded me of sour candy, and everyone kind of like
Oh,
they
ooh, I
lit
like
up
that.
like, oh, it's like
Yeah.
an inside joke, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Oh,
I
I
think
see,
the
right.
thing is that in between takes, like when the cameras are off, she legit is just like a sour candy person.
Handing out.
yeah.
And they're like, you would know if
Yeah.
it is sour candy.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Also good if you want to add like moisture to your mouth.
Another thing that Iffy knows all about.
Sure.
You want to
Kristen's
lube up
gotta-
your oral devices.
I
Oh,
wasn't gonna
no.
come out and say it, but yeah, someone.
I thought
did
about
that.
sure.
They grabbed like a bag of sour candy. They were like, "Hold up!" I was like, "Yo, that's crazy. Let me get some because I want to eat it."
But yeah, no, I was thinking that though for her like her hosting demands. You know, she gotta be talking.
Her
talking,
writer.
Exactly.
Yeah, her
She'll be
dressing room
talking,
always
talking.
has
Keeping
to.
the throat moist.
yapping. You know, yeah, it might get dry.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
know, gotta stay on top of that. All right, Cesar. He got his ribeye and chokeberries. Chokeberries.
Once again, never heard of a chokeberry in my life.
Yeah.
Very
And he
cool.
was like, "Oh, I pick these in my garden all the time." I'm like, really?
Oh yeah.
What?
He knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grilled ribeye, chokeberry reduction, rutabaga cream, and bone marrow cornbread.
Ugh,
Pretty cool.
bone marrow cornbread sounds,
Sounds
so
so
good.
good.
Yeah,
I need
that's
that.
dangerous.
I want that now.
I need that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they love the cornbread. They kind of didn't like the tartness of the chokeberries because he kind of added some sugar,
Right.
which he probably should have kept the tartness because it could have been like
That's
a
what it's
red
supposed to
with
be,
the
yeah.
beef or whatever.
Yeah, the
ribeye
way
with-
they've again, it's like I don't know what I'm talking about. I never heard of a chokeberry prior to 10 seconds ago, but the way they phrase it, I was like, that makes so much sense. They're like, you pair beef with a red wine because it's so tannic,
Interesting.
and
yeah.
you got a tannic berry. Why would you try and not make it? You know what I mean?
Right, and he was familiar with the berries.
Yeah, and I
so,
was like, yeah, what they're saying makes sense. I agree.
He sometimes he gets it on the like sometimes he invents something so crazy he's just sort of like out there and sometimes it hits sometimes it doesn't I guess so
Yeah.
that was tough, but yeah. And so then Shuai did his. Oh, I forget what meat he got. But black
short
currant.
rib. Short rib and a stuffed cabbage on
Pretty
top
good.
of wild rice risotto.
Yes. Yeah, he did his mama wing stuffed cabbage.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But yes, exactly on top of that sort of wild rice congee, black currant, black pepper sauce.
Mm-hmm.
They felt it was kind of heavy on heavy, but flavorful, and it kind of was very nostalgic for them.
Yeah, I like that sometimes like the talking head narrative doesn't match like the judge's narrative because they're not talking to each other during production.
Yeah.
But this one he was like, everyone else around me has these fine dining skills I don't have, but I'm good at cooking like homey food. And then they also tapped into that at judge's table. They were like, oh, everything else we got tonight felt like it was from a steakhouse, and it's the only thing that felt like not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
Like everyone was on the same wavelength of being like, this is just like good food, and it doesn't matter how fancy it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, dude, I love that.
No,
me
very
too.
cool. Yeah, the way it looked, I was like, oh yeah, it looks like a real it looks very different than everything, but kind of like a cabbage roll or something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And but in like kind of a cool way. And then it did feel like he was nervous, but kind of had gotten into this place where he knew that making what he liked and what he grew up with has kind of worked for him.
Yes.
Plus, he always brings up his mom's cooking, and he's always like, "Oh, my mom would hate this. Like,
Yeah,
she makes
yeah.
it so much better." But like, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Damn, I want to taste her mom's cooking."
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so judges table. At the top, we had Massimo, Shuai, Tristan. They each get a point, and Massimo ends up winning. +2. Sorry, I said that really
was
weird.
so coy.
I was also
Yeah.
thinking. I was also
Massimo
thinking Massimo ends
ends
up
up
winning.
winning.
But yeah, they had that weird thing when they waited to tell them if they're on the top or the
Oh,
bottom,
right.
and
he was like, I
reacted.
hate this.
Yeah, so that was funny. But anyway, yeah, so he won. Massimo with his fruit leather and his
I'm catching up, baby. My one chef left on the board.
He's doing great. He's been doing really
Gonna
great.
get me 40 points to catch up to first
Yeah.
place.
Massimo. And then on the bottom was Bailey, Lana, and Cesar.
Yeah, all my chefs.
Oh, all three
Oh,
yours.
Oh yeah,
Ouch.
that was like.
But you have a
taking
lot.
the L either way.
Yeah.
But sure, yes, okay. Yeah, and then Lana ends up going home.
Because Bailey had, remind me, Bailey had good,
Oh yeah, she just had
Quickfire, right?
She had a good quick fire with
the
the
Crispell.
Crispell.
Yeah, that's right.
Crispell.
Okay, yeah.
And then she had this sort of the pomegranate and the brulee
That's right.
thing.
But so she was safe because of her
I think that
quick
helped
fire.
a lot. Yeah.
So it was really down
It's kinda
between Lana and Cesar.
But yeah, Lana had kind of I just felt like her elimination challenge dish was like kind of bad on all different angles, not bad, but like had
No, everyone could pick
problems.
apart one thing and be like,
right,
that
it's
part
was it
wasn't
the
good.
meat? Oh, and then the
Yeah,
berries.
the
So I felt like I
potato,
was
yeah.
kind of seeing that. But I was a little surprised though because I feel like they focused on her up top, and
Mhm.
normally and had a couple features of her throughout the episode. So normally when they do that, I feel like they're trying to set up this person's going home,
Right,
but then she's not,
Right.
So it was a bummer to see her go. Of course, she hasn't been like she's mentioned she'd been on the bottom a few times, so it was sort of similar to Vinny, where it was like, maybe you kind of lose your spirit, or you're kind of like, it might be my time,
Right.
But she had an inspirational thing about like she just got out cooked, right? It was sort
Yeah.
of she tried her best.
That's
She
sort of
actually
it.
was kind of happy
Yeah.
with her dish, but
Hell yeah.
I feel like that's the post game interview for all these chefs. Is
Yeah.
like, because a lot of these chefs are really, Katiana is like so fucking good, and
Yeah.
just be like, I just,
yeah,
everyone's got a bad day.
yeah, you
Yeah.
had a bad day.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the other
we can't afford that.
yeah. I think but yeah, the weird thing with Lana maybe more so was she kind of was happy with her dish. Maybe
Right, she
Katiana
was like, I
wasn't at
liked
that
it.
last
Yeah, yeah.
last time, but it was like she was like, I don't know what is wrong with it, and that happened a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about like when she did the deconstructed fried fish or something too.
Right,
But
that's
it was
right.
sort of like she was fine with it, but it's hard to read the judges, and then the judges like, actually this wasn't great, and then ooh, surprise,
Yeah.
So when
I
that
gotta think
happens,
this has never been televised like this, but I've got to think that must play into judging a little bit because if you're on the bottom and you don't know why you're on the bottom, I think that's a little bit of, I would imagine for the judges, a little bit of a red flag to be like, well, if they think this is good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this far into the competition, they're always like, someone's going home for a good dish.
Sure.
It is good. But I feel like early on when someone's on the bottom, they're like, I stand behind it.
What's
And they're like,
wrong?
well,
Yeah.
then I don't think you have what it takes to
Yeah,
win
yeah.
Top Chef.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, no, I always find that a little worrying because then it's like, wait, this is how you wanted it to turn
Right,
out, or
right.
like you intentionally cooked it at that temperature?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
like,
Yes, I love it. I
leading
make
question.
trash food.
yeah. I mean, actually, though, I
Yeah.
think David Murphy was like, I don't know what your problem is. I'm leaving.
Right. I'm great. You
I'm
guys are
great
the
at-
problem.
yeah, fix this. But anyway, so she was maybe we were kind of anticipating her going home at some point, and she is. And no Last Chance Kitchen as well,
No
so she
Last
won't be
Chance
continuing.
Kitchen.
So now basically all we have left are, I guess, 5 chefs: Massimo, Bailey, Tristan, Cesar, and Shuai. And then one more week in Calgary, and then the 4 go to Italy. Is that correct?
That's what they said, and I was like, are we going to have a 4-person finale? Or do you think the finale is like we're going to eliminate 1 person immediately and then 3 cook in the finale?
That's kind of what they did on the boat, right?
Oh, that's right. Who made it to the boat?
I forget.
We
Last
should have this
season?
research ready to go.
Oh,
I'm looking at you.
know.
No,
Who
I wouldn't
won?
have had the research either.
who won last season? I can't even remember. No, Danny.
Danny, yeah, that's
Danny
right.
It
was
Danny,
at the boat.
Dan was on the boat.
Oh wow, Danny, Dan, and then who was like?
It's fun for the audience to hear us just sort of
Yeah,
guess.
when they know,
Yeah.
yelling into their. But yeah, I mean, I guess it could be that way because normally, the finals normally 3 people, but maybe a 4th tags along for
Right.
1 episode. But there's only 2 more episodes. Is that the idea?
I think so, because it ends on the 19th, right? But it might also be a 2-part finale.
Yeah, it was Danny, Dan, and Savannah. And
Oh,
so
yeah,
I think
Savannah.
Oh.
my god.
Oh, yeah. There's 3 weeks left. So if they eliminate someone next week,
Oh, okay.
then it's got to be a 2-part finale.
Yeah, so the finale, they're calling it the finale, but there's 4 chefs, they eliminate 1, and then 3 are like the final cook. Of,
Right,
do you
yeah.
make your
It might
whole
be
meal
like
that you
going to
wanna
Italy
make?
is like actually 2 challenges. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's not just the finale. I would imagine.
Yeah, spend some time there, if you're going to go all that
Enjoy
way,
it.
hang
Enjoy
out.
it. That's always what I
Laura.
think, because they bring in like the last 3 or 4 people to get eliminated to pick as a sous chef. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'm like, if they fly you all the way to Italy and they're like, you can pick your sous chef, and then you don't get picked, that's just a free trip to Italy.
Oh, I mean, I hope
You
I would,
win,
I would be
you know what I
pissed if I
mean?
got picked.
Yeah.
It's just like,
'Cause then I gotta go to
no,
work.
I have to work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be pissed. I would intentionally try to, if I knew I was going to go home, intentionally try to seem difficult.
Yeah.
at the
Oh
end.
no, I got food poisoning on the flight. I can't be your sous chef.
I can't possibly.
I have to go to the Coliseum.
It was even like when that last Chance Kitchen thing where they had to pick somebody to direct, to be their
Oh,
stunt
that's
double
right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they were like, yeah, I will,
I wouldn't
especially
wanna, yeah.
after being out of it for that long and being like, we're just gonna hang out here, and then surprise, you got to work. I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh god, I wasn't expecting
Hard
this. I just
pass.
normally hang out.
Yeah.
And I think they even did ask Henry and the other chef, I can't remember who was sitting there, Ying maybe, and they're like, yeah, we're so happy that.
That's
or no,
right.
actually, Ying's not there anymore. But yeah,
No, Ying's
we're
gone.
so happy that we didn't.
Ying
get
was a one and
picked."
done.
Yeah, she's gone. But okay, so yeah, Italy very soon, and I was thinking, so really like, let's see, Massimo's really dying to go to Italy, obviously.
Massimo and Bailey, because
And
they
Bailey,
cook
yeah.
the Italian food.
So do you guys think that would be better or worse to go to the place that your thing is from? Because you'd
I
be
think
kinda...
better.
Okay.
It's a little bit. I think chefs are a little bit better with like called shots, because it's like, here's my area of expertise. Why would I not want to play there? You know what I mean?
Sure. I would just be worried that the level of expectation would be a lot higher from the guest judges who are from that country or.
Yeah, I think it is, but I think if you're a chef, you're like excited for that challenge. You know what I mean?
Sure. They are all running towards the pain.
Yes.
Right.
Very impressive.
As chefs are wont to do.
Yeah.
Yes, they love pain.
I love pain. That's why they got lots of tattoos. Okay. So yes, Milan, and then and because Massimo literally says he wants to go to Milan and cook some fucking Italian food.
Yeah.
Okay. Simmer down,
name's,
Massimo.
His name's Massimo.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
else are you gonna
he
expect
has
from that
to.
guy?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Is
Well,
it Minimo?
you're right. He is in a Minimo.
That's his little brother, and
Oh,
he
Minimo.
hates Massimo.
Yeah. Minimo just like
Minimo
sits in a
never
room.
gets the same amount of attention.
Oh, I feel so bad for Minimo.
Oh, Italian iffy. Here we go.
Oh.
Next year's Max Fun Drive.
Yes, it's a me.
Iffy.
Iffy.
Oh, very exciting.
Minimo iffy.
Minimo iffy.
Oh, I do feel bad for Minimo. Minimo is like a little incel looking at looking at Bravo TV, being pissed that his brother gets more attention. All right, points breakdown, everybody. Let's get to it. So you can find our rules on our Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. This episode we had quickfire favorites were Bailey, Shuai, Tristan, each getting half a point. Quickfire winner ended up being Shuai for a full point. The judges table was Massimo, Shuai, Tristan for a point each. The Elimination Challenge winner was Massimo. He gets 2 points.
Yes.
And Bailey and Lana cried at the end.
Oh,
so they get half a point each.
Wow. Okay. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
got to get that.
Nice.
The tears.
Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but I think that was it. So this week, if he gains a half a point, is
Okay.
that right?
Again, half of that's 2
Oh, wait, no,
cries.
sorry. Yeah, you should get a point there.
Two
I think
cries.
I had that. Oh, I had that.
Give
Okay.
me my
Let
point.
me make sure. I added that to
crying
the final scoreboard,
points.
but I believe I did
It's
that.
important to get the crying points.
Singular point, please.
How many folks out there got
Oh
our
wait,
pin
I'm sorry.
this
You
year?
got 1.5 points.
1.5.
I think I
Okay,
typed that in
yeah.
wrong.
If
That's
you were
correct.
a Max Fun Drive $10 or more, you got our pin, and our pin was half point for crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we also never got
Yeah.
maximum fun.
Oh.
The hosts of this show never
I'm
got our pin.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Unless
so
you guys
we're
did, mine
carrying
got
that
lost
over.
in the mail. You guys didn't get
No,
pins.
I
Oh
Okay,
no,
yeah.
I wasn't aware we were supposed to. I've been crying this whole time, wishing for that pin. No, okay. So yeah, that is the pin. Hopefully everybody got it, and
Okay.
we're awarding those points out. So yeah, Effie, you got
A
1.5
point and a half.
point.
Okay.
1.5.
Now it's going to be less impressive when you move on to me, and I'm like, I got
No, yeah, Mike, you got 3.
3. Massimo,
Is that right?
baby.
Yeah, 3.
Here we go.
Massimo, and then I got 4. So we had Schwei and
I got
Tristan.
4,000.
Making right, and then so getting to our totals. So
Oh,
yeah, Mike,
God.
you've got. Let me just
I already
cross-check
hate
this. Okay, yeah, I got you have 26.25 point.
Okay. I already hate
Iffy,
this.
34 points,
Okay.
and I'm at 54.5.
You're
Got
still over twice as many points.
Still a
as me.
lot of points, but it's anyone's game.
Yeah.
If I somehow double or nothinged and won, I would still not win. That's how behind I am.
Sure. Yeah. We'll introduce the double or nothing at some point. No, but yes, this is where we're at right now. I will say, if you do still have the most chefs, is that correct? Or maybe you're now down
No,
to 2.
Yeah, we're at
So we're
2.
tied at 2, and then you have Massimo.
I still just
2-2 and
hanging
Massimo.
on with Massimo.
All right, and he's doing great. And
Maybe he'll
and-
get me 30 points in
I
one
mean,
episode.
Yeah, and Italy's is home base.
That's true.
food wise, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
So could be. All right. Any last thoughts here?
Okay, let me think of what else went on in this
Oh, yeah,
Hollywood
yeah.
Reporter article
Should
that I
we
wanted to talk
discuss?
about. Okay, let me find my notes. Okay, Tom said that he's always wanted to do. Okay, let me see if I can read it directly. He talked about what challenge he's always wanted to do. That he's been trying to make happen. It was like an opening challenge because they asked about the stuff that people bring from home.
Oh yeah.
Because every
Molds,
chef is allowed. Yeah, molds.
special dried ingredients.
Yeah, and like Anya brought her edible pine cones this
yeah, her
season,
little
and they're
pine
like, we
cones.
never talk about really what they bring from
Yeah,
home.
cool. What if somebody
Okay.
brought like a live animal?
Okay.
They're
Waiting
allowed
for
to
the
bring
slaughter.
12 things personally.
Okay.
And here's what Tom said. I've been trying for 10 seasons now to have the first episode be a real mise en place challenge. You'd have 10 hours to make stuff for your own personal pantry. Preserved lemons, roasted tomatoes, stocks, things like that. Then you'd get to use them throughout the season.
Oh, whoa.
And then if you lose, there's a pantry raid, and the winner of that challenge can actually take stuff out of your pantry.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like
how
that.
funny.
I think that'd be cool because there are so many things that you can't use in this kitchen because you don't have time to make them while you're here. So we'd walk around, we look at their mise en place cooking and how they work, and then send someone home.
After all that work. That's cool because you could get some pickled things or something.
Yeah,
over the
exactly.
course
The
of a
things
long
that
time.
take a while.
And that adds like such a interesting strategic
Mm-hmm.
level to the. I think that would be a great improvement to have that in the show.
Yeah.
Well, he's been trying to do it for 10 seasons. They can't agree on doing it. So,
I guess it's a big gamble, so maybe it's like, oh, if the first episode's kind of boring, it's like it's a payoff for later probably, but
yeah,
Maybe
But
yeah.
also,
they're
it's
worried
probably a
about
thing
losing
too,
people.
right? Where like, how long is that gonna last? You know?
yeah.
Right. And if it never comes into play, then it's like kind of a lame like setup with no payoff to be like,
Right.
he pickled these onions at
Yeah.
the beginning of the season and he
Wow.
just never uses them.
Look at him put those chopped onions in that jar.
Okay, there was another one here that I want to find. I want to find the quote. Tom sort of like, okay, yeah. They talked about other cooking shows. And Tom dropped this. I think there's also a certain quote. I think there's also a certain integrity that we have because we decide who stays and who goes. That's it. The guest judge, but that's it. I know of other shows where they choose the winner ahead of time and it's engineered, or there's a discussion about, well, wouldn't this person be great for story? We don't factor any of that. In fact, there were times where we're like, shit, this person's going home and they're really good. And I think that's really interesting to drop shade on other shows to be like, I know other shows pre-choose their winner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I feel like I do. You can kind of feel it sometimes.
Yeah.
I think Gordon Ramsay falls under that because sometimes you're watching MasterChef and you're like, that dish doesn't look that good, but they were
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
you know, yeah.
Mhm.
For story reasons, it's like, oh,
Right.
this they have a good arc because they said they always cook this food and they're really, and then this is if it's bad, then they go home for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can pick out any good or bad thing from this.
But this is something we've also talked about when we've covered Gordon Ramsay shows, is that it's like it is a much it's like television first, cooking competition second.
Sure.
His brand is a lot of just like,
Yeah.
this is a show, or I'm going to entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
think that, again, that's what makes Top Chef special, is that it's like, we're going to send Katiana home because she had a
Yeah.
bad day.
No, I know, and they do it all the time, and it does. But I don't know, man. It feels like there's a built trust between the audience and them, where we really do believe that that's like we trust anything they decide to
Yeah,
do, and like
yeah.
maybe if that weren't the case, there'd be like outrage or be like, oh, this show sucks. They send that person home. I'm not gonna watch it anymore, you know. But
Yeah,
they do a good job of like we really do trust their taste and what they're saying in that
right.
moment, and it feels like that authentic decision is like way more interesting than
Yes.
anything else like they could do.
It's like a different form of television. They're just
Yeah.
aiming to do different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yeah, I think at that, you know, like in the casting, I know they've talked about it's just really like it's just very they don't really, it's not really like who you know even. It's really
Oh,
like
yeah,
it does
yeah.
help, like they get referrals, but it is really like a systematic thing where they try to
Yes.
pick who's ready, right?
Right.
Like,
it's not like, oh, this person would be good for camera.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay, the last thing I want to
That's
mention
great.
is that they dropped that Padma gets drunk off a half glass of wine.
wait, what?
She's apparently a lightweight.
Oh,
Padma can't handle
I'm
her liquor.
surprised. Okay, that makes some sense. Oh, so because I remember I've probably talked about this on the podcast before, but I remember when I was working on Drop the Mic, which was a rap battle show based on a James Corden segment.
What?
Yikes!
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Great show.
I apologize.
Thank you for the job back in 2018. But yeah, it was. I think she had gone on like the previous season. I wasn't there when she was on as a guest, but everybody was joking that she got kind of like, you know, everybody's nervous when they go and do
Right.
battle rap for the first time. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, it's a
What? They
lot.
can't do that Stone Cold sober?
so
Yeah.
so oftentimes they help them out with some drinks, and I think she was pretty sauced by the end. But
Now
maybe
I
she
gotta
didn't
go
drink
back
that much,
and
apparently.
watch a clip of
She's just a lightweight.
Padma
Yeah.
rap
Freestyle.
battling.
I'm sure they might have scrubbed it. No, but it's probably on there somewhere. I don't know how it turned out.
I am as someone who is adept at improvising, musical improv is so far from what my brain can do.
Oh boy.
If you ask me to like rap battle, it's gonna be the style of like, well, my name is Mike, and I'm here to say, you know
Hey,
what I mean?
That's great. I like it.
Or like if you've ever played
yeah,
the Jackbox game about the robots that rap battle, you know what I'm talking about? It's like Mad Libs. I'm like, that's my skill level there.
Missed that one. But great. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know how anybody does it. Who knows? But yeah, it is. I now it's correcting my memory of that. Like, okay, maybe she didn't drink that much, but she was just like.
She just had one sip and she's
Right.
like done.
Well, okay, she's hosting a new show now. That's a cooking
Developing
show,
her
right?
own cooking show for CBS.
Oh, it's developing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Exciting.
We
Back
don't
at
know what
it.
it's going to look like, but hopefully it falls right in between.
Oh yeah. What was her?
Hopefully
I
it airs
remember.
right in between Great British
America's-
Bake Off and Top Chef.
Oh, right.
Hopefully
that
it
too.
debuts on like January 3rd and runs right up to March.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fingers crossed for that. Miss Padma.
Miss
I liked her
Padma.
Taste the Nation. I think
Taste the Nation was great.
Yeah, I liked that one, but
Yeah.
obviously didn't continue. So we'll see what's next.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess any last thoughts, or how do we feel?
No, I think we know how this is gonna shake
Oh
out.
well, sure.
Oh yeah,
About
yeah.
the competition, sure.
All the
sure.
drama is sort of gone
Yeah.
because we know who's going to win here in this room.
Fair.
Do
Well,
you
we'll
already know
discuss.
where you're going to pick for winner's dinner?
Well,
Which we are behind on.
we are behind on. I mean, I don't necessarily know. I know we've discussed Fuji though as.
Oh, that's
as a
right,
thing
the
we wanted to do.
buffet.
Did we
Yeah.
think that could be a winner's dinner? Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could be
I'd
into
be
that.
open to it because I am curious.
It
We'll
also
see if I'm
feels
a
like
good
they
way.
wouldn't be mad if we just started
Yeah,
recording
no, they
there.
would not. They
don't give a shit.
I'll tell you right now.
Any
Yeah, yeah.
Asian-owned business in San Gabriel Valley, they're just gonna be like, "What? Who
Sure.
cares?
Yeah. They're just.
My
we're
son's
just-
doing homework. Why would I care if you're
Yeah.
recording?"
We're gonna just crack some crab into the microphone.
Yeah.
Crab legs in the microphone. Okay. Lovely. Well, everybody, that's our episode today. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this podcast, please share it with someone. Also, please go to MaximumFun.org/join where you can support us for as little as $5 a month. Obviously, it helps us out a ton. It really keeps us going. We did our drive. We're still working on some of those perks.
They are in the works. It's on our list. No one has written and been like, "Hey, where's the episode you promised?" But just so you know, we're on top of it. We're planning it.
It's in the works.
Yeah, we like to pace these out, so we'll be done just right around the time we're down to do another drive.
Yeah, exactly. By this time next year, we'll have gotten through all those bonus episodes that we promised.
Believe you me.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the Top Chef Quickfire board game directly over my shoulder, which we're gonna play at some point.
Oh yeah.
As bonus content, we just haven't yet.
Yeah, we will.
Eventually.
Look, have you ever tried to organize a game night with your friends? It's impossible.
I don't even like game nights.
You don't like game nights?
It's a miracle that we make this show every week.
That's true.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's always something. I did want to. all is well. All is well.
Okay. Can we look at the one-star reviews?
So I did want to say, I would like people to make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts. Also, give us a little 5-star rating.
Are you looking at our reviews right now?
No, because I was looking through the reviews. So there is some fun. There is some funny negative reviews.
Oh, we've never done this. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Some people didn't like our racial comments. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, wait. There's one that is funny. Oh, this was recent. Sorry, horrible accents. You guys are bad friends for letting someone fake an accent, ... and ruin the entire listening experience by doing so.
And that was a 1-star review?
Yeah.
Had to turn the episode off.
Buddy, that's a 5-star.
That's
what we
episode.
offer.
Yeah, that's what
People
we offer.
loved that episode. Don't listen to him,
What was
Miffy.
the race thing that people...
Well, this was one of the original 1-star. Horrible is the title. Horrible. 1-star. I'm picking them because they are black. I think he's quoting us.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm picking them because they are handsome. Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That was a long time
sorry
ago.
that we would do that in our very serious TV chef fantasy league, and
Right.
we
I
would
know.
base things, which mind you is things people do in fantasy league all the time.
Absolutely.
like
Guaranteed this
That
guy
is
who left
true,
this review
yeah.
is in a fantasy football league where one of his buddies is like, I'm picking this guy because he's got a cool name. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's the difference? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
This guy went to my alma mater, so I'm going to draft him.
man,
Oh,
yeah,
another
it's,
person did say we're focused on race.
on race, yeah, and we're gonna keep doing it. You can
And
eat
yeah,
my whole asshole.
Sorry, we're
Okay,
literally-
this is like a
sorry,
legitimate
welcome
thing that I will
to-
say that some white people don't understand, which is just that it's like, I cannot change what my face looks like, so it affects every single aspect
Right,
of my life.
yes, and,
There's
like,
no
you
way
try.
to not talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, if
Well,
you're the
I think-
default
yeah.
hit, you know.
That's truly
Good
what
for
it is,
you.
and what it really is. It's a bunch of like Top Chef fans coming over, especially like
Oh, yeah.
Bravoverse, which are predominantly like white podcasters who never tap on to any of these things,
Right.
and like having to be hit by just like you're making everything about race is like. When you're not white, it is.
Everything
Yeah.
is about
Everything
race.
is about
Yeah,
race.
yeah.
Sorry.
And you just can't wrap your head around it because you chose to ignore it.
Yeah.
You chose to. That's
Right,
why
you
you're like, I
can.
don't know what the big deal about Trump is. It's like because you
Right.
cannot see a worldview outside of your own, and you're listening to people whose whole life had to do that to
Yeah.
even ingest regular media.
Yeah.
Also
Snaps
eat my
to
whole
that.
asshole, loser.
Yeah, no, we
Like I have
yeah,
no
you
patience
guys
for that.
started
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Well, because
Yeah.
also you got to imagine me coming from like Max Film. Our big tagline was a movie podcast that isn't just 3 straight white dudes talking.
No, sure.
And we got so many 1-star reviews. 'cause
Sure,
we
of
Just
were
course.
for
like
that. Yeah,
and I was
haven't listened.
like truly. You were the biggest loser to me, and I hope you tell it to my face so I can push you into a trash can or locker,
Love it.
whichever's
Love it.
closer.
Love it. Yes. I mean, I will say, doing stand up about race often, it comes up, not every single joke of mine, but of course the jokes about race
Yeah.
are the ones that get the most views.
Yeah.
And then every comment is like, can Asians stop talking about race? Or like if you're a
No.
woman and you talk about sex, why do ladies talk about that pussy
Right.
so much? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, well, why don't you fucking watch any other video and or shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I did want to come to all these reviews, not to only read the bad ones,
Okay,
but
yeah,
also
hit us with
because
something. Yeah.
Yeah. hit us with
I didn't realize that your name gets on the review, so I rated us 5 stars and wrote us a review, thinking I was going to be anonymous.
Wow.
But so I tried to sound like a third party.
Okay.
I was like,
what did you write?
I wrote, a great listen. As a longtime Top Chef fan, 5 stars. As a longtime Top Chef fan, this is a Also, welcome listening supplement. So funny and good episode analysis, like watching with friends.
You really wrote that like a robot. That really
I
sounds
was-
like
yeah,
a
I was
paid
trying
sponsorship.
To, like, yeah, AI's coming in here and just giving
Wow.
us 5 stars.
I'm also shocked you didn't write something like Sierra is so funny.
Yeah, Sierra.
I also bet
in
she's
particular.
cute.
Yeah, is she single? So yes, so that's embarrassing. That's me. But so if everybody could rate and review us 5 stars, so that mine is not one of the only ones, and it's clearly me, my first initial.
Wait,
last
is
name.
it one of the only ones who have like 2
No,
5-star
we have
reviews?
a
Oh,
lot. Okay, the thing is, we have a lot of ratings. You can just star rating and then leave nothing.
No comment.
So then
yeah.
so there's fewer that leave like a full paragraph. So you're either a passionate fan like myself,
Right.
or a few other great people. Thank you to Kat Stewart. It's always a good sign when the only negative reviews are conservatives being upset that POC discuss their race.
Hell yeah!
Hell
very
yeah.
meta,
I love
yeah.
you, Kat.
Yeah.
Kat gets it. Kat.
Kat Stewart. Kat.
Kat.
She's
Hell
like,
yeah.
don't listen. I've only started listening now for the Master Chef episode, but I loved it. Caught up on the episodes. Can't wait for the next one. So good so far. Happy they joined Max Fun so I could find out about them. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I love it.
So we've got
Shit.
that one. We've got Hungry to Win. Oh yeah, oh yeah, PE Vargas 90. Hell yeah, thank you. I won't read all these, but thank you. People love it. But of the paragraph writing people, I am a prominent one. So
Gosh.
so let's bury me
Yeah.
down there a little bit
The
and write some
longest
more.
review.
Yeah. Gosh, it's so funny that just thinking about that one kind of like 2-star review that tried to be like, it's like whatever. Like, I typically don't like it, but like they're talking about race. And it reminds me of that really kind of poignant thing you said about like cooking, right? Where it's like cooking is all about race. Literally. You have a bunch of people
Yeah, Jesus.
borrowing from cultures
Yeah.
to make dishes. And like we've seen in this episode, when you tap in a specific way, the food connects even harder.
Yeah.
And so for you to watch a show like Top Chef and have that fly over your head, you have to be
Yeah.
Actively
quite possibly
ignorant.
the dumbest person in the world.
Yeah.
Like that means you're not ingesting anything you're watching. You're just food good,
Right.
and you
No,
clap
yeah.
your hands really hard.
Cooking is inherently a political act.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of boil back to that little Tristan v. Massimo discussion last episode,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, I just use what's in front of me and make a
Right,
good dish. And
right.
it's like, well, okay.
And Tristan talks about it in this episode where he's like, oh, I love paying homage to other cultures, which is why I'm going to try and make a pemmican.
Yeah. Once again, so I just want to know what that person who left that review thought when they watched it, where he's like, oh, he
they
just means it in a very non-political,
Yeah, yeah.
non-racial way.
Do you know
Very strange.
Patrick Noth, great comedian, friend of the
No.
pod? I'll call him.
Huh,
Patrick
sounds
Noth
familiar.
does this series of videos on his Instagram where he has a character that's just like a caveman named Grak, and he's dressed like a caveman, and he watches YouTube videos and reacts like a YouTuber reacting, and it's always just like he'll watch a cooking video and he'll go, "Wow, meat," and it's like that.
Yeah, that's what that
That's
person.
that's what
I
that
do.
person
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a really boiled down version of cooking.
Wow, meat. It's my Patrick Noth impression.
It's great.
Great.
It's good. Well, yeah. So we solved so many problems here today, but yes, the at the bottom of all of that is hand us a nice 5-star review. Write a little thing if you like us. If you don't listen.
Yeah.
Don't listen. Go watch
listen.
something
Or
else.
do. This is
Yeah.
the. I fucking hate J.K. Rowling, but the one thing that I'll give her is her attitude is like, I don't care if you burn my book or read it. It's you bought
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I made the
sure.
sale. I get the
She
money.
gets
you know?
royalties.
So you should,
Like,
if
you can
hate
hate
Yeah.
listen to us.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
get the
That's
download.
true.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
true. Keep doing
Speaking
it.
of which,
Interact.
man.
Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. I was gonna
Fuck
say I want to
JK.
hit her with my car, and I was like, I probably shouldn't be on.
Not
record
on
saying
air.
that.
Not on air.
Oh,
But,
I mean,
so just beep
she'll-
that part out, or boost the audio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Once again, you can listen to this hatefully, ironically. Ironic dollars spend the same. I've heard that said. You know what I mean?
I see.
If
Yeah.
you buy something ironically, it's like you still gave them the money.
Yeah, if you want to hate, support us at MaximumFun.org/join. We'll take
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
If
and
you
give
want
us
to
that
hate
support.
buy an apron that says cake dome
Yeah.
on it. Go
That's
for
right.
it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
if you want to hate, send me nudes on Instagram. It's Iffy Waddy.
hate, send me nudes. That's so funny.
Show me the racist bubble butt.
If you want to hate, sponsor our podcast.
Yeah. Hate, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
All right. But yes, and if you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop us a line at Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. Follow us or send us an email at chef@maximumfun.org. We love getting your emails. Didn't get any this week. Okay. Also, if you're doing your own Top Chef Fantasy League with friends, please tag us. Tell us how you're doing. For full unedited episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. Give us a little positive comment. Give us a little thumbs up. follow, smash that like button. Or
The
whatever people say.
YouTube community who does comment on our videos, I will say, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, the YouTube community is generally very nice.
Oh,
Yeah, y'all-
Everyone who
that's
comments
true.
on our YouTube videos is like, this was great. And I'm
Yeah.
like, thank you
Aw.
guys.
I appreciate you.
We love
Thanks,
it.
YouTube.
Yeah, it's as easy to send a little love. Thanks again to my co-host, Mike Cabalon, and If You Waddy Way here. We'll be back next week, still in Calgary. Well, not us, but the show. But thank you. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our engineer is Gabe Mara. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Volante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.